Good morning, everyone. Welcome. This is Ann Hine, and we're here with AD Skill Builder number 12. So if you're out there, I have my comments on. If you want to comment, tell me where you're from. Little good morning. Thumbs up. We'll see who we have out there. Usually a few more people pop in as we go. We're going to hang out here for about 5 minutes. So if you're out there and you want to say good morning, or you want to post where you're coming from, go ahead and do that. You're welcome to do that. I do have my comments on. And if you're new today, first time, we hang out here for about 5 minutes before starting, and then I start right at the top of the hour. I'll put the camera on. So you have a few minutes to get your coffee, your tea, glass of water, whatever you need, your pen. If you want to print out the class notes, I went ahead and posted those this morning. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Henriette and Marty. Welcome, welcome. My usuals. Hi, Sharon. Welcome. From down in Milton, Delaware. Almost like a neighbor. We'll be going down that way next week. We're going to go pick up our travel trailer and go on an adventure. Hi, Anna. Welcome. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, so my timer's counting down. So once we get to 0, I will turn the camera on and we will get things started. Hi, Candy. Welcome. A couple people from Toronto today. I know. Happy spring. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm looking forward to it. I'm strange. I do like snow, but once it starts getting warm, I'm ready for warm. So it was so nice yesterday. I think we're going to have another nice day today. Get out, get some fresh air, some sunshine. Does it body good to get that sunshine. Hi, Joyce. Welcome. So if you're new and you're just popping in, if you're the first here, first time, this is AD Skill Builder number 12, and I'm Ann Hine. This is what we do 5 minutes before we start. We kind of hang out here, give our good mornings, let people know where you're coming from. You can also share this. I think you can share this one. I'm not sure, though, because you have to join the page to see it. So I don't know if we have the share button on this one. I don't think we do. Hi, Heather. Welcome. Let's see, who else did I see here? Annika, welcome. Welcome. Oh, a sunny afternoon in Sweden. How nice. Sunny in Ontario, too. Very nice. Yeah, I'm happy for the sun. Very happy. So looking forward to it. We have a lot of, we live in the suburbs and there's a lot of houses around us, but we have a lot of little bunnies in the spring. So I'm waiting to see last year we had quite a few. So I'm waiting to see what we get this year. And then we have some other critters too out there. I have one kid that's very, he's the critter kid, finds all the critters out there. So that's wonderful. And we're getting close. So let me see who else is here. Sharon and Adeline, welcome. Janice. Let's see. I think I got everybody here. And Sharon, welcome, welcome. We're almost there to our starting spot. So I'll be changing over to the camera. Hopefully hair and makeup's done today. So hopefully you're getting over to the Janome main page and seeing what's happening over there. Always something good going on that page. We have our educators and our Janome makers doing videos too. Hi, Sally and Britt. Welcome. And Lynn. All right, so here we go. Let me put the camera on. There we are. Hi, everyone. So good morning from Delaware. So welcome. As I said, if you're new, this is how we start. We always have our little banner up, and I wait for about 5 minutes before I get going. And the reason for this is in the beginning, Facebook didn't give us a place to organize our videos. And sometimes if I started like this, we would have the beginning of the video would have some weird, me doing some weird face or something. Catch me in a weird spot. So I started putting the banner up, and I like to put it up 5 minutes ahead just so that everyone has a chance to find it. Sometimes it's hard to get on Facebook and find your way. And so I came up with this way with the banner. So some of you already know that. If we have any new people, that's just for you guys. So today we're going to be going over Auto Border, which I've talked a little bit about before, and we'll talk about it again. It's always good to review. And I want to talk a little bit about RedWork and show you RedWork. So it gives you some more creative tools to work with while you are learning your Artistic Digitizer software and you're making your way. And I always like to tell people, don't be afraid. Jump in, try things. Don't get frustrated. In the beginning, that's how it is. And that's how you learn, by trying different things. And I learned that way too, by trial and error. And sometimes there's a lot of errors. But that's how you learn. And then you know how to do it from then on. So make sure, don't be intimidated. Ask your questions to the page. We're happy to answer them. And you can ask them right here to our Janome Artistic Digitizer page. We answer all those questions. I'm going to check. I have my iPad on to the side here so I can see what's happening if we have any early questions. But nope, just people saying good morning and hello and hello. Very good. So as I said, I will check to the side for questions as we go along. So if you have something, ask your question. There is a bit of a delay, so that's okay. And if I miss your question, I'll answer it after we're done for the day. I usually go back and answer any questions. Or if we're still on, you can pop it up again and post it again. Sometimes they go by really quick and I don't see them. And we do have some people who will answer questions for you. So we have a very knowledgeable group of people that watched. Some of them are our developer and some Janome people. And then we also have the people that are on our page. And did anybody notice our page is over 5,000 people? Woo! But, some of those are like I deleted one today, somebody trying to sell digitizing. So we don't need that, right? We don't need someone to sell us digitizing because we can do the digitizing ourselves. So that being said, I'm going to jump right in. And today I want to start with a little review. We've done a lot of skill builders. We've learned a lot. And the one thing that comes up many, many times is when you're working with a logo or with lettering, or even when you're working with any type of a JPEG, a PNG, deleting parts of it, and then when you delete a part, it fills in because they're layering on top of each other. So when you take the top one away, the bottom one is actually a background. So it's just going to fill that spot in. So I'm going to go through, I have a little one that I'm going to play with and show you a couple things. So hopefully get people over the hump on doing that. So that's not hard. It's just remembering which way to go. And sometimes not all graphics are built the same way. And it's not always, A, B, and C to get it done. Sometimes you have to try A and C and then go to D, and that works. So it's just a little bit of playing with it just a bit before you so you get it. But I want to make sure you have the tools so you know how to do that. And we covered this a little bit in the, I think it's Skill Builder 9, 10, and 11, because we were working with bringing graphics in and how to work with them a little bit. So I showed that just a little bit. So I'm going to do a little review. So I'm going to start there. I'm going to turn on the software and we'll jump in there. I'll review that, and then we'll start in with Auto Border and the convert to RedWork. And I have some samples to show you too, so we'll set that up also. All right, so let me get the software on. And here we go. Switch that over. Let's see here. There it is. All right, now we're on. Just had my screensaver. All right, so everyone knows this is our welcome screen, and I love this welcome screen. It's very easy to jump in and get going with your software. I love going down here to my browse and opening. I have things in my favorites. It's very easy to bring things to your favorites. If you have a folder here, this is a USB stick I have in right now. So if I wanted to bring, I already brought this one over. If I wanted to bring this So Happy over, I just right click on it and I can see how it says add to favorites. I can just click right there and it would add that to favorites. So very easy. You can move your folders to your favorites, and then you can work with them there. And then if there's any that you want to get rid of when you're here, if you right click on them, there's a remove, and it just takes it out of favorites. It doesn't delete it totally. So you want to be careful where you're doing that from. If you're down here in devices, you might delete a whole folder. Okay. All right. So I do always like to mention that this is my favorite way to go in. When you're in there, you can see all the thumbnails of your designs, and I think that's handy. At least for me, I'm very visual. Or if I just wanted to jump in and create something, I would just go right in here to create new. Of course, things you've just worked on are in the center, and I have one pulled up here that we're going to work with. And then on the far side are your videos, and they only work if you are on the internet. They are loaded to YouTube also. You can find them at the YouTube channel there. And there's a little arrow right here. This collapses them and opens them back up. Okay. All right, so we're going to jump in, and I want to review a little bit about how to remove that background. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and I'm going to auto digitize it and select OK. I'm going to leave my accuracy at 5, and this is just 2 colors, so I'm going to make it 2 colors. And I'm not going to do Trace's artwork today. I'm going to show you when it comes in as stitches what you can do. Of course, you want to check out that Trace's artwork. We covered that in the videos. So here's my design, and I know when I select the white, if I can look right down here in my used colors that just the white part is selected. All right, so if I have that selected and I want to delete it, I can hit delete and the white goes away, except for in here and over in here, it didn't go away. Right? And in the B, it didn't go away. So if I was to delete it, let's say this little loop here, I don't want white in there. I want it open to the back. And I hit delete, look what happens. I get that filled in part. So this is where you would want to use the shaping and trim function. And the way to do that, you can do it a couple different ways. You can do select all and take all of them, or you can select, you need 2 parts at least. The white part, and I'm going to do shift and click on the black part. So I know that both of these are selected. Now I can either right click or I can go up here to shaping. So if I right click, right here is shaping, and then I'm going to do trim. All right, and since I had that selected, I can select it again and delete. It's there. Now this one I didn't select. Let's see what happens. It did not delete. So I would need to go back and make sure I select that and the black. And I can right click, do shaping and trim. Click off of it, click back on, and delete. So now it's open in the back there, which is nice. Same thing with these letters here. Let me check to see if there's any questions happening over here. There we go. Let's see. Nope, everything looks good. All right, so this one here, if I don't want to select everything, I can select the inside part, or I could even select the outside first and use my shift and select the inside. And it's helpful if you scroll in close so you can see. Now I have both of those selected. Right click, I can do shaping here, or if I want, right up here on the top, I can do shaping and trim, and then I can come in here and delete that. Okay. Now you'll notice over here, my A and R and this E is kind of funky. I'm going to have to fix that E. But this A, it did not have anything in here. It just came out like the way it was written. The graphic, and I think if I move this down, you can see the graphic behind there. See, there's only a tiny little spot in the center, so the software couldn't really read that. So it didn't leave the opening for the A. But you can very easily create that. And to create that, I'm going to go to my shapes, and I'm going to use the polygon. And up here, I can change the number of sides. I can make it 3, which is a triangle. And then I can click and drag a little triangle right here. And let's select it and put it in the center here. There we go. So now I'm going to have, I can make that little space in there if I wanted to do that. But again, I have to select my shape, which I can see down here. I have selected my shape, and then I have to select the outside part. I'm going to right click. I'm going to do shaping and trim, and then click off of it, and I can click in here, delete that, and I'm going to move the A so you can see, because well, actually, let's dim the background. If you go up here, you can turn your backdrop off, and there you go. I'll back out a little bit so you can see. So I created a hole in the A for myself. All right, so I can continue around. There's still some little parts in here that have white parts in them that need to be deleted, middle parts, as you want to call them that. And I'm going to go up here. I can do shaping and trim, click off of it, click the part I don't want, and delete. Now behind that is there's a graphic back there. And this one, let me go back and see something. I'm going to do something else. Let me see. Let me try this again. If I go here, let me undo twice. There we go. Let's select that and select this. Let's do shaping and trim. Click off of it. There we go. Now it did separate it, but there's just a little bit of an opening there. This is where I might go in, and there must be something else under there. I might do edit nodes, and I would work with my nodes and kind of stretch them out. There might be another piece underneath there, 2 sections of this. So you can play around with, oh, there it goes. Now I got it open. I use the little arrow here to open that up. The other thing I want you to notice is this black part here. It looks like an outline, but it's not. It's a fill. It's not an outline. So it's going to behave more like a fill, and you can use your stitch flow on it if you want to create more angles in your stitching, and sometimes that helps fill letters in better that way. All right, so hopefully that will help everyone with that part of it. I'm trying to get my comments to come back up. Hopefully. I don't know where they went, but they've disappeared. There we are. Okay, now they're back on. All right, so I'm just going to double back here. Yeah, I know we've changed. We are in daylight saving here, so you have to remember that. Yes, you can. Yep, Heather, you can get more than one. Let me go back down here, and let me take. Well, let's see. I don't have. Let me do some undos here, and I'll select a couple things. Get rid of that A. Let's see how far I can go back. All right, let's go one more. So over here in the B, if I wanted to select both of these parts, I can do select one, right click, select the other. No, not right click. I'm sorry. Select one, shift, select the other, and then select the black. Doesn't matter what order, as long as you selected them. And then you can see shaping is up here now, and trim. And I could have right clicked. So then I should be able to, well, maybe I didn't hit trim. So see how this one didn't go? Sometimes you have to do it trim twice. Let me try again. They're all selected. And then, you know what? While it's still selected, it's still saying I can trim, so I'm going to trim again. That's like the knife is that way too. When you have, oh, it's only going to do one at a time. Okay. I think it depends on the design of that, because I have taken some out. But if not, just go back in, select it again, and do your trim. Let's see what else is there. I think we're good here. All right. All right, so let's talk about auto border. I'm going to go ahead and I think I had something open here. Oh, that was earlier. Let me close some of these so we don't have so much open. Makes things a little neater. All right, so let's talk about auto border just a little bit. I want to bring in, this is a Jeff file I'm going to bring in here. And say you wanted to put a border around this. It looks pretty good, like you might be able to get a border around it. Sometimes when you're doing the auto border, it doesn't make a complete border because it's reading the design itself. So it depends on what's going on in your design. And to do auto border, I would select it like this. And I have all of it selected. I can use auto border from the top toolbar under convert, or I can right click and do auto border. And then once the window opens up, I can do to the inside or to the outside. I can pick my distance and I can do my repeats. And we'll talk about remove holes in a minute. And I can do running or satin serial, whichever I like. And well, let's do satin serial for this one. And then I'm going to do OK. So on this one, because it's satin serial, there's actually two. This isn't a great example, but you can see that I put them too close together. I think they're 2 millimeters apart, which makes them too close. And it went in here a little bit. So let's go back. And let's go back to our convert, and we'll do it with a running stitch and OK. There we go. So you can see it made the two borders here around it, and it looks pretty good till you get right in here. And in here, it brought in some stitches for some reason and went in here. And you can remove those if they're an issue. You can edit your these. They're individuals, so you can edit them. You can add decorative stitches. So if this is, I think that's the one I want. If I do edit nodes, if I came in here and deleted these two nodes, it would take that little one apart. This one here is part of my inner. So let me go back out. And of course, anywhere along here that I want to work with my outline, see here, this is kind of odd in here. Maybe I don't want it to do that. So maybe this one here I'm going to delete. I'm just clicking on it and deleting. And then I can shorten these up. So I can smooth out my outline a little bit as I go around. And I can add a decorative stitch. So if you come over here to your stitches, you can add any of these decorative stitches to your outline like that. And there it is. Now all these spots that look like this is where your edit nodes would come in handy. See, because it's trying to do this kind of thing. And maybe you don't want those, you know, the jagged edge there with this decorative stitch, so you would edit your line. Does that make sense on that part of it? So let me show you with a shape. If you were going to just pick a shape, and we can use our polygon that we had open before, like this. There's my shape, and I'm going to select it. I can come up here to convert and auto border, and I can do my distance. Let's do my distance, let's say 2.5 millimeter apart. You can do, I'm normally in inches, but of course I can use the millimeter if I want. Sometimes that's easier for me with different measurements that I'm working with. I'm just going to do running and OK. So there we go with our outlines around there. I could delete my center if I wanted to. Let's delete the center. And I have this neat little design happening. And of course on each of these are each individual. So I can go ahead and I can click on them and do anything I want with them. These might be too close together. So I'm going to delete this middle one here. Let's do this. So this one here, the outer one, I can go out here and select a stitch. Let's go with this guy here. There we go. So I could add a decorative stitch to the outside on there. So there's a lot of things you can do with your with shapes and with your outlines. if I was working with crystals, I could turn on my technique up here for crystals and okay. And I could select one of these and go over into my properties, and I could put crystals like that and add crystals in. So you can do some fun things like that. Even if I was working with this one here and I wanted crystals here, I could do that also. And we did a whole thing on using crystals. So your auto border is very flexible to things that you can do. Let me show you this one other thing. We're going to go to the circle, I think, the ellipse. And let me draw one. So I'm going to click and drag. That's pretty nice. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it. I want to delete the inside. And then I'm going to do my auto border. And here we go. And I'll do just 2 to the inside, but I think I want them 3.0. Let's try that. I'm going to do running and okay. Oop, wrong way. Helps. Let's put this back here. Get my thing. Went in the wrong direction. All right. And I'm going to go back to my, yeah, that was 3 inches and not 2.5 millimeters. And I want to go to the inside. And I'm going to do okay. So now I have my original line and 2 borders. My original's out here and the 2 inner ones right there. So I could do something fun with this. I could use my outline shape and draw a line across here. End shape. I can select both my line and my circle. And I can now use the knife feature. And I may need to knife more than once. Let me see if it shows up. Nope, it didn't. Okay. So now let's click off of this. Now I have this upper part. Let's select it. Let's see if I can select it. So now I have 2 halves. I could take these over here. Let's select it all. Slide it over. Oops. And line it up with this one. Now I have to zoom in so I can see what I'm doing. But I could line up these ones here like that and make a design that looks like this. I could take my magic wand and I could click in there and it fills that in for me. And now I've created this other design, and I could add different stitch patterns to this. I could add decorative stitches in there if I wanted to. Let me see there's a question here about how to lengthen the dot. I'm not sure can you explain a little bit more, Jermaine, on that? I'm not sure which dot you're talking about. So once I know, I can help you with that. The other thing is you can auto border around different objects too, if you have several objects. So let me bring something in here. I'm just going to make a circle. I'm going to make a star, and I'll make a trapezoid up here. So if I want to put a border around those, what I would do is I would select them, right click, and do auto border. And I want to go to the outside. I only want, let's just do 1. And I'm going to do running, and I'm going to say okay. And let's look in here. And you can see it auto bordered each one, but it connected it with a jump stitch. Let's go back and try auto border, remove holes, and OK. Oh, it left it too. All right. So sometimes you're going to get this. You can, let me show you this one though. I did a really cool one with this. Ooh, I got to go find it. My butterfly. Here we go. All right. So this butterfly, it doesn't have any stitches yet because I haven't applied any stitches to it. It's just artwork at the moment. So once we know what the question is over here, I can answer that. If I wanted to outline this piece, let me see what happens here. I just want to outline, if I can just get the pink parts. There we go. And I want to do an outline, a border around these. What's fun is when you're working with auto border, you can do your borders in different places. And I think I want this to be, yeah, 2.5. Let's not remove holes. I'm going to show you the remove holes thing in a bit. Okay, so here it did my outline, and you can see how it outlined each of these separately and did a jump stitch over to the other, which is just fine. I'm happy with that. I could do an outline now with all of it. Let's take all of it, and we're going to do auto border. We'll do the same amount, and we'll do OK. There we go. And I want you to see this because it made this square box. And the reason it made that square box is my artwork here has a square box around it. I can't see it because it's white and it's blending in. I kind of know it's there because it's blocking here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this, and I'm going to go back, and I'm going to select this. See how I selected the white, and I'm going to delete it. And then I'm going to go back and select again. And hopefully that box won't be there because I think I removed it. Oh, it's still reading a box there. I wonder why it's reading that box there. Let's delete that. Whoops, not that. Sorry, hold on. Lost you guys for a minute, so hang on. I don't know if you're gonna see that. So it's still reading that box. I'm not sure why, but let's do it. Let's go this way. Let's delete that, and let's do one around here. I'm not sure why it's grabbing that box under there because it should be gone. So we can make these kind of come together if we want. You can, since this has parts, I can make, well, this is kind of neat. I can make an auto border of this part here. See that little flower? This part I thought was fun. So with auto border, I just love to, and I'm going to make it 0 because I want it right on the line. And now I can move this off. You can see I have this nice shape. Let me move away here. Uh-oh. There we go. Sorry about that. I lost you guys on the, there we go. So I created this shape here from my butterfly. All right, so hopefully I didn't lose you guys totally. No, I think we're still going. All right, I had a little blip with my computer. So that's the neat thing about auto border. You can make borders of things and create other images that you can use. Now the remove holes, the best way I like to show that is with text. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to put my text at the top here. So there's my little text line. And let me find, this is a good one, I think. And my font is pretty big. We'll see what happens there. And I'm going to type Janome. And let's put it inside here. All right, so if I want to do an auto border around this, I'm gonna do it to the outside. I'm gonna do one repeat running, and I'm gonna say okay. And then I'm gonna click off of this, and it did an outline around each letter. You see how it did that? And it did in here. Let me delete the red part. So there's my outline. And it did the one on the inside. Sometimes you don't want a border on the inside of your letters. Maybe you're doing something where you don't want that. So if I undo, let's see what's happening here. There we go. And I do remove holes, it won't go in there. So let me do this. Your letters have to be the right size too. If they're too small, it still goes in. Let's remove holes. So it's not going to go to the inside of my piece, or it shouldn't. So I'm going to click off of there. And when I delete the red part, you'll see what oh, it's leaving that. That's not right. It must be my original one. My outline is actually black, and it's not doing an inside one. So when you're doing certain letters, that's a good thing to know. It won't make, if you wanted something to be totally on the outside of your letters and not go to the inside, it's the remove holes is what you want to do. All right, so I'm going to hold off just for a moment to make sure if there's any questions before I move on to red work. And I think a few weeks ago, someone posted a challenge. It looked like a spirograph. And a lot of that was done. You can do that with auto border by doing those borders in or out and then applying stitches to them. So you can really create some fun stitch designs by doing that. I don't have any saved to show you, but if you scroll back through, or if you actually look at our pictures, you'll see some of that on our site. All right, I think we're doing pretty good. If there's a question on auto border, I can always go back. But let's look at convert to red work. Now, I want to close some of these windows here. And before we do that, I want to put my camera on and show you a couple examples of convert to red work. So let me switch to the camera. All right, so this is an embroidery design, and this design is actually one of the designs included with the software. And I stitched it out here, and then I converted it to red work. This is one that I did a lot of different things with. So I converted that to red work, and I'm going to try to stand up if I can zoom in. Sometimes the zoom works and sometimes it doesn't because I have to. So you can see those stitches a little bit more. So you can see my stitching there. And that wasn't terribly hard to do on that one. This one here, this is an embroidery that's in the MC15000. It might be in some of our other machines too. So I took that one in and I converted that to red work. And this one here, I'm going to show you some things. I did clean this up. You'll notice, and I don't know if you can see it on here. Let me hold this up close. In here, there's some extra, in the these little spots right in here, there's extra stitching in there. And so when it converts to red work, it brings those in. It looks a little messy, so you can actually delete things out. So that's what I did to make it a little cleaner when I did this one. And then one more to show you. This one here, this design here, I actually created from I took a picture of my fabric and brought it in and digitized it and then turned it into red work on there. So I got this neat fabric, kind of textured fabric that I could use. So there's lots of ways to use your red work. Now, if you're not familiar with red work, it doesn't have to be red. Like my ones over here were purple. It's just back when they did red work by hand, there's red work, there's blue work, there's black work, but nowadays you can really do it really any color that you want. So let's go in and change something to red work. I'm going to go back to our software, and we'll go to I was looking at Candy's comment. Let's go back to the software. Here we go. All right. Now I have a couple of pieces here, and when you're working with a Jeff file and you want to turn it into red work, you have to do convert to curves. And I'm going to do one here. I'm going to do this one here, bring it in, and I'm going to convert it without, some of them might convert nicely, but I'm going to convert this one to red work before going to convert to curves. Convert to curves will remove some of the little stitching that makes it messy. So I'm going to just come up here to convert, and I'm going to do convert to red work. So see how it's a little bit shaky and it doesn't look all that great? Let's see what happens when I go to convert to curves first. So it smooths it out. It still might have some weird spots here, I think. We'll see what happens. And then I can do convert to red work. Oh, much nicer. Now I do have something going on here. I could fix that. I could actually just take this one here and work with that one and redo all those. I wouldn't edit each of these. I would just take this and copy it again in all those 4 places and use it that way. It just would be a lot easier than that. No, you don't need a special needle and thread for red work. You could actually use a thicker thread, and then I would put in maybe a denim needle when you go up to a thicker thread. There are, like, if you wanted to use like Aurifil thread, they have some different weights of Aurifil. You can do that too. You have some options with your red work. Let me select this and show you. When you're working with your red work, after it is a running stitch, so you can come in here and you can change how many passes. Red work is typically 2 passes, so when you're changing to a different thread, you want to remember that because it might become really thick. And you can lengthen your stitch also. You might want to lengthen your stitch so that you don't have, sometimes if the length isn't long enough, all that thick thread, you're just going to end up shredding thread, and it's going to make it a little bit messier for you to work with. Let's see. And Candy mentioned using the auto border when you're doing an applique. It would come in handy too. There's so many uses for auto border. I forget sometimes to use it, but then when I start playing with it, I come up with other things I can do. So let me show you with the other one I did, how I did the editing on that. And then we'll do an SVG. I'll show you how to do an SVG. So here is this one. I'm going to open it, and then I'm going to convert it to curves. And then I'm waiting for it to do its thing. Let's see if it did it. Nope, I don't think it converted yet. Let's go back. There it goes. All right, let's see what happened. So now it's converted to curves. I'm going to select it again. And I could right click and get convert to red work, but I'm going to do convert to red work, and there it is. And then I can come in here. And you can see some of these, see how it has extra stitching in here. I can select that, right click, break apart, click off of it. And now I can click on parts of this and just delete them. Now that's all connected, so I could do break apart again. And then I could collect up and delete these little guys here. I could create my own little shape to put in there, and then I would just take this shape and copy and paste it all the way around instead of editing each one of those. Sometimes I think ahead, sometimes I don't, and I end up editing all the way around. Right in here, do you see right here, these 2 little pieces? They're they're not going in the direction I want them to go. So I can select that, and I could do edit nodes. Let me scroll in so I can see where my nodes are. And I can click on the square, and it gives me the little node thing here, so I can pull it out like that. Straighten that one up. So I can play around. I could actually put a node right here if I wanted to make things even better. But I can work with that shape, or I could just take one of these, copy and paste it, and put it in there. So sometimes you have to think ahead about what you're doing. Maybe I want just one part of this design. I can select that part and then use it somewhere else. So RedWork gives you a lot of possibilities. One of my favorite things is to take, that's what I did with that little heart design. I love taking one design and doing several things with it. So you can be very creative without having to have, a zillion designs to work with. You can really create with some of the designs you have and play with them. And this just came from the Janome machine. So there's lots of embroideries that you can use, but when you use an embroidery, and it doesn't have to be a Jeff, you have to do convert to curves, and then you can do convert to RedWork. And from there, if you wanted to edit it, you would need to do break apart and then edit it from there. So let's go back to my browser. I want to work with this SVG. I think these were really pretty. And it's an SVG, so when you have an SVG, all you have to do is select it, and it turns into stitches right away. So there it is. I want to delete this background part, so I'm just going to select and delete some of these parts here. And maybe that part, and this part here, and this part. Let's see, I'll do this part. And I could have selected from my used colors and selected it all at once and deleted. Now when I delete this one, I do get my nice hole in there, so that's good. So I can select this, and I don't have to convert this. I can actually go right to convert to RedWork. And then I have this really neat looking RedWork. So I could use this in the corner of something. And I could edit it somewhere. Maybe I didn't want the butterfly. Maybe I just wanted that scroll work. But you have to look at some of your designs now, and you'll see them in a different light. So convert to curves, probably the most confusing, and I'm not sure I'll even explain it correctly. When you have an embroidery file and you convert it to curves, first of all, when you bring an embroidery file into the program, if you want to do more in-depth editing to it, other than changing colors or resizing, it doesn't have the lines and curves. It looks like it does, but it doesn't have the lines and curves that the software reads to give you the edit nodes function or some of those editing functions. So you need to convert it to curves. And when you convert to curves, it does change the type of stitch that's in there, because the program is thinking now, all right, you want to edit you want to edit all the design now and do your own thing with it. That's the way I think about it. You can actually convert to curves just a part of a design. So say you have a flower and the leaf is weird. You don't like it. You want to change it somehow. You can select that leaf, convert it to curves, and then do your own edits on it. Maybe you want to make it a step fill with a pattern, or maybe you want to do a satin fill with a pattern, or you want to use your stitch flow tools on it. So that's how that would work on that part of it. Now, when you're talking about when I'm converting to RedWork, the reason I use it on a embroidery file when I convert to RedWork is it removes all that extra stuff. And you saw that when it came over. I did the first one and it was all kind of messy, and then I did the second one. It was a lot smoother. So it's reading the lines and curves at that. The convert to curves makes it lines and curves, and then RedWork can read that better than all that jumble of just your embroidery file. Hopefully it can understand. It's a little it takes a little while to really understand how to use that and what it is. Let's see. So you can use this with, I wrote some things down on my notes here. You can use it with clip art. If I went up here, you know, we have our tools, clip art library, insert clip art. I have my B here. I could do my A too. I wonder what this would look like. So there's my A. Let's select this and put it. I'm going to move it over here so we can see it on the white. All right. So I can take this, and this is clip art, so it's embroidery stitches, or it comes in and becomes embroidery stitches, so we don't need to convert to curves. So it is up here, so we'll see what happens. I'm going to do convert to red work and see what it does. Now it's just a letter. It's just going to do the outline of it, and it is going to give me my 2 passes. I would probably want to do break apart and not have this little jump stitch in there. But let me look at one of these, a different clip art. Let's go back here. Let's look at that B, because your letters are actually, when you type them in, you can turn them into red work right away there. So if I did my B and insert, and let's put him this way. There we go. And he's selected. I can come up here to convert, and I could make him red work. And he becomes like this for red work. And that's not bad if I want a double line on there. Let's see if I undo this and let's do this first. Let's right click on here and do convert fill to center line. Let's make it a line. And it's changing all my fills. Let's get rid of let's undo that. Let's delete some of this. I gotta ungroup it though. Oops. Come on, fingers, do what you're supposed to be doing. There we go. Let's see now if I can get just come on. There we go. Let's just delete the purple parts. Let's get rid of some of these things here. Oops, undo that. I'm trying to get just parts of him. All right, so that's just all the black part there. If I convert that to red work, let's see what we get here. Or let's do center line. There we go, center line, and then convert to red work. So you're going to get a single line. So sometimes when you have those double lines, you'll need to use the convert object to line. And I'll show you that. We're going to do a little lesson on that too. Well, now I'm going to go backwards. Convert outline to object. Put it back as the object. And now I can make the fill. That outline, this black looks like an outline, but it's not. It's a fill. And convert fill to center line. So it's making it a line. So we're going to play with that feature on another date too. I want to do a whole session on that. All right. So I'm not sure if I have one more I can show you. Let me look in here. You can use the some of the quilting designs from Janome, and I would show you one, but sometimes because of the way those designs are, the software has to think a lot with those designs, and sometimes it crashes. So let me see if I can find one that's small and do this. I'm talking about and they're already line designs, so I don't know why you would make them red work designs like this one here. I mean, it's already a line design. For me, if I wanted this to be more like red work, well, first of all, I'd have to convert it to curves. And see, it's going to take a little while to think about. Oh, there it goes. All right. So now it's converted to curves, and let's make it a red work. And it gives it the outlines like that. So you can work with it this way too. So those are fun to work with. I think I only had one more to show you in here. Let me go to my folder. this one here. And the thing with RedWork is what I love is you don't know sometimes you don't know what you're going to get. And like this one here, I don't know. Let's see what's going to happen. There we go. So now I have I think I like that one. I would use this on a piece and use it for my things. So I'm going to turn the camera back on. You can use these with your symbols. You can, you know how we worked with the icons with the Word document icons, or even in your even in the Mac, you can use it with icons. Really, you can use it with almost anything. And then what I love is that if you have to edit it, you have your edit nodes to work with, and you can come over here and work with your length of your stitch and how many passes it's going to have and so forth. So you can, really, you still have more options with it, is what I'm trying to say. All right, so let's put it back on the camera here, and we'll see if there's any questions. And we'll go from there. Here we are. All right, there we are. Okay, so hopefully you liked that, and you'll use the RedWork function a little bit. It takes, it's not really that hard. You just have to remember, I love working with SVGs with it because they come over so easy. Even your JPEGs and things like that, it expands what you can do with an embroidery. And I like that. I like that I can take one thing, maybe it is a JPEG or JAF, one item, and then I could do several things with it. You can create some really interesting looks that way by showing different ways. So let me make sure there aren't any questions. Everybody's been pretty quiet. All right. Since we don't have any questions, I may let you guys go. We're just about at the top of the hour here. I'll wait a second because it's always a little delay from when you're typing it in to when it comes. I did mention early on, I want to mention this again, is make sure you're checking out the Janome Sewing Machine page. They are doing, they're doing lives on at 3 p.m. on Tuesday. I think they're doing them Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. I don't know if they have Thursdays, but they're doing 3 a week, and some of them are with our educators on different machines, and some of them are with, like last week we did one with Kimberly Imo, and she did a little overview of different feet that she used the M7, but the feet can be used on a lot of the machines. So she went into depth. It's an hour long. It's really good on all the different feet. It's the optional feet, the extra feet that you can get, not the ones that come with the machine. So make sure you check into those from time to time and see what's happening over there. Sometimes they're class-oriented. I think this week, the one I want to watch, and it might be today, is with Heather Profferty. She is doing amazing things with the decorative stitches that are in your machine. Okay, she's creating these beautiful flowers and things like that. So she's going to do a little class on that this week. I'm not sure which day. I didn't look at the schedule yet, so you want to check that out. All right, so let me see what we have here. Where do we find the Janome Sewing Machine page? All right, on Facebook, in the little search part up there, write Janome Sewing Machines, and it'll take you right to the page. Now, the sewing machine page is where the videos, where they have the lives. They have a classroom page. If you put Janome class, I think it's Janome Sewing Classroom or Janome Classroom. I think it's Janome Sewing Classroom. That page is for comments, and you can post your work there. And we have had some classes on that page too, but I don't know if they're all there. But if you go to the main page, Janome Sewing Machine, it'll tell you where the video is going to be, but they're mostly all on that page. And then you can search for videos in the search file by the person's name if you want, or by the technique or something like that. So you can search that way. Let's see what else there is. I think we're good. All right. All right, so I'm going to let everybody go. Go out and enjoy the day. If you get that nice sunshine, we all need our vitamin D. And I will see you Thursday. Thursday, we're going to be back here, same time. I'm going to be working on the Artistic Edge Cutter. Last week, we created some things. This week, I'm going to show you how we cut them, and we're cutting vinyl. We're going to do some iron-on vinyl, some sparkle vinyl, and some sticky back vinyl. So we're going to do a little bit of both, a little bit of all three of those, I guess, and show you how that works, how it cuts, how you lift it off, how you have to work with it. So tune in on Thursday for that. And then, of course, next week on Tuesday, I'll be back here for Skill Builder 13. Woo, I can't believe we had so many. And then going forward, April, we're going to have a little bit different schedule. Some different things are going to be happening. I have to shore that up over the next week. So April and May might be a little bit different too. So just to let you know, some fun things are coming. All right. So I'm going to let y'all go. Have a great day, everyone. Make sure you use your Artistic Digitizer daily. That's what the doctor's ordering. All right. See y'all later. Bye-bye now.